Hello, students. A very good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is fine and excited to join the Zoom class. As this is the first class after half yearly, we will just recall lesson number 4 of civics, that is understanding laws, of which explanation was done before the half yearly. So, uh, for this, you can please open your book, civics book, lesson number 4, civics book, lesson number 4. Now, this is lesson number 4, understanding laws. In this, we have seen that Parliament is in charge of making laws. In this page, we have seen that Parliament is in charge of making laws. So, who is in charge of making laws? Parliament. And these laws apply to everyone. So, the most important of the provision was, first of all, we have read after this, next page, coming to the next page, members of the constituent. In this page we have read that the members of the constituent assembly agreed to share their that there should not be any arbitrary exercise of power in independent India. That means the law should be made for the purpose of all the benefit, and it should be for fruitful for everyone. Hence, they instituted several provisions in the constitution to establish the rule of law. And the most important provision was that all persons in independent India are equal in the eyes of law. So here, all persons in the independent India are equal before the law. This we have seen. Next, we have seen also about the uh, law, that law cannot discriminate among citizens on the basis of their caste, class, gender, religion, ideology, and social background. That means each and every citizen of the country had to obey the laws, and the one who will not obey the laws are liable for punishment. Next, we have seen about the rule of law. The rule of law means that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country. That means no one can be above the law. Neither the government official, nor wealthy person, nor even the president of the country is above the law. So that was the rule of law. And here it means, I think now it is clear what is rule of law. It means that all laws apply equally to all the citizens of the country, and nobody is above the law. Next, we have seen that any violation of law then invites the punishment and a process through which the guilt of a person has to be established. So, if any violation is made of these laws, then the person is liable for a punishment. Next, in this page, we have read about uh, two main laws, that is Sedition Act and first year in this page we have read about the Sedition Act. In this, we have read that Sedition Act was passed in 1870 by the British government. So, according to this Sedition Act, any person protesting or criticizing the British government. So, according to Sedition Act, year of 1870, any person protesting or criticizing the British government could be arrested without due trial. Means he cannot go for any high court or supreme court, or ask for the plea, but straight away, the if any person protest or criticize the British government according to Sedition Act, he could be arrested without due trial. Then next we have also seen about this many historians also, it is often believed, it is often believed that the British introduced the rule of law in India. Historians have disputed. Now here we have seen that historians also have disputed this claim on several grounds, and most important, ground is that colonial law was arbitrary, means they were only seeing their own benefit. The laws were made in the British period for the benefit of the Britishers only. So colonial law was arbitrary, and Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of legal sphere in the British India. So after the Sedition Act, here we come about here Hindu Succession Amendment Act, that is 2005. Now, according to this new law, some daughters and their mothers can get an equal share in family property. So, this second act was also passed in 2005. According to this was an amendment act. Then, according to this new law, some daughters and their mothers can get equal share, because previously in the according to Succession Act, only the son was getting the share, was having the share in the family property. But according to the Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005, now the equal share was given to daughters and mother also in the family property. And in the same, new laws have been enacted to control pollution also, and to provide employment also. Next, in this paragraph, we have seen how do new laws come about. Now, the parliament is an institution. In this, we have read that the parliament is an important institution which makes new laws, and there are several ways through which new laws are made. Different groups in the society raise the need of the particular law. Whenever we feel like that there is any need of the law, then the group of the society members raise their voice, so that a particular law is framed in the parliament for the benefit of the people. Now, the role of the citizen is very important in helping Parliament frame different laws, and people might have into the laws. People might make that concerns. Important concerns are there in the society, which people think that laws should be framed on that, and thus citizens of the country play an important role and helps the Parliament to frame many laws for the upliftment of the society, for the smooth working of the government, and the peaceful atmosphere of the society. Now, from establishing the need for a new law to its being passed, at every stage of the process of voice of citizen is very important element. So, the voice of the citizens of the country is very important, so as to frame a particular law. This voice of citizen is heard. How this voice of citizen is heard? Through TV reports, newspaper editorials, radio broadcast, and all these things, which help in making parliament work more accessible. Means it will be easily accessible for the parliament to make laws, if the people, if the citizens of the country help parliament in making the laws, in raising the voice, through the raising the voice uh, for particular law, through TV reports, newspaper editorial, radio broadcast, local meetings also. Then we have seen about here a small box is given about the domestic violence. Now, domestic violence refers to any injury or harm, or threat of injury or harm caused by any adult male. Usually, especially, they are talking about husband, and the injury or harm is done by husband against his wife, then it is concerned to be the domestic violence. Now, injury may be caused by physically beating up the woman, or emotionally also, if abusing is done by any adult man, especially the husband, then also it will be considered as domestic violence. And so, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 extends the understanding of term domestic to include all women who live or have lived together in a shared household with the male member who is perpetrating the violence. Means now, if domestic violence is there, then the woman can go to the court for help against that member or adult male who is giving the domestic violence. Then we have seen the next page about, this was just a story how people go against a particular law, raise their voice, and how the law is framed. Now, next we come about unpopular and controversial laws. We have read this also about unpopular and controversial laws. In this, we have seen that sometimes Parliament passes new laws that turns out to be very unpopular. So, why they are unpopular? Through the laws, it's constitutionally valid and hence legal. The laws always which is passed in the parliament should be legal and should be valid and fruitful for the beneficial for the public. But it becomes unpopular and unacceptable to the people because the intention behind it is very unfair and harmful, and that is why it becomes unpopular and controversial laws. So laws which are framed in the parliament should always be fruitful or for the benefit of the society and the country at large. And if we see that if any law which is constitutionally valid and which is not as proper, unpopular or unacceptable by the people, that means it behind that particular law is any harmful or unfair reason to pass that law, and thus people criticize this type of law and hold public meetings, write about in the newspapers, reports, TV news channels, etc. Just they will go against those all that those laws which the people think that it is not fruitful for them, it is not beneficial for the society. They start demonstrating against that law, and they show their reaction against that law. They criticize publicly that law and thus so that the parliament can make a particular change in that law or that law can be banned. So in a democracy, citizens express their unwillingness to accept particular type of laws framed by the parliament which are not beneficial or helpful for the upliftment of the society, for the peaceful growing of the society. And when the large number of people began to feel that the wrong law has been passed, then there is pressure on the parliament to change it. And thus we have seen all this, that this type of demonstrations are there, and if they think that there is need to change, they protest against that law, the people protest against that law, and thus the parliament had to make changes, and people pressurize the parliament to make change in that particular law. Now, this only we have read about all this in the lesson in a previous class, that means before the half yearly. In our next class, we are going to continue with the question answers of this lesson. And the question answers of this lesson will be discussed in a coming class. Whenever it is there, the live class will be there or the video uploading class will be there. We will discuss these question answers. And please sit with your notebook and a pen, a pencil, whatever you are in need, and we will discuss the question answers of this lesson. Thank you.